Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Brianne from BeyondBreation, and in today's video we have day 11 of 12 days of Christmas crafts. We are going to be making this mini folio album. All you're going to need to make this mini folio album is some cardstock. I have a mix here of 110-pound cardstock and 65-pound cardstock. Both are just white and I got them from Michael's. But that is what we're going to need to make this. And then obviously you're going to need your decorative papers. I designed this folio with a 6x8 paper pad in mind. I thought it would be nice to have an album where using a 6x8 paper pad would make it super easy to basically just be able to put the 6x8 paper more or less on. We'll end up having to trim the decorative paper 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch along one of the top or the bottom sides, and then about 1 1/8 or 1 1/4 off the one side. But other than that, they are gonna fit beautifully in this mini folio album. So let's get into all the measurements and we will get this put together. Okay, so to start off for your base, I do have all of my pieces pre-cut here. So I'm just gonna separate these. So for our base, what we need is one sheet of 8x11. I have used 110-pound cardstock just because it's a bit more durable. And so you're gonna cut, I just used 8.5x11. I cut that down to be 8 inches by 11 inches. And then you're gonna score it at 5 inches and 6 inches along the 11-inch side. So as you can see here, I lined this up in my scoreboard and I added a score at 5 inches and 6 inches, and that gave us our base piece. So once that's scored and burnished, we are going to get working on the inside front cover of this mini album. So once again, you're going to take your cardstock and trim it down to 8 inches by 11 inches, and you're going to score it at 5 inches and 6 inches along the 11-inch side. And then what we have is for the inside front cover is I'm gonna have 2 pages, one that flips this way, one that flips this way, and then on the inside we are gonna have some tiered pockets, and those pockets are gonna be gusseted. So for the 2 pages that flip, we are gonna want one piece that measures 5 1/4 by 7 7/8. And this piece we are gonna score at 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. And that is along the 5 1/4 side. So again, I've used 110-pound cardstock. It measures 5 1/4 by 7 7/8. And then we've scored it at 1/2 inch and then at 3/4 of an inch along the 5 1/4 inch side. And this gives us a 1/4 inch gusset. And that is gonna go, the first page that's gonna go on the inside front cover. So we can go ahead. I've just added double-sided tape, and this one I have going on the right hand side, and I'm gonna get that centered because it is just a tad bit smaller. And I'm gonna get that put down. Just like that. And for the other piece, we want this one to measure 5 1/2 inches by 7 7/8. And we want that scored at 1/2 inch and 1 inch along the 5 1/2 inch side. And this gives us a whole 1/2 inch gusset. And this piece is gonna go on the opposite side, just along the left-hand side there. So I'm gonna take my double-sided tape and I'm gonna get these lined up as best as I can. and it will go just like that. So again, this piece measures 5.5 by 7 7/8, and we've scored that piece at 1/2 inch and 1 inch along the 5.5 inch side. And we have just added those into the inside front flap on either side, just like that. The last thing that we're going to add to the inside front cover are these cascading pockets. So we have 3 pockets here, and they are all a bit different in height. So for the bottom smallest pocket, we want this to measure 5 7/8 by 2.5 inches. And then, like any regular pocket, we have scored it at 1/2 inch along both the left and the right hand side and the bottom. And we have mitered the corners. So we have just cut off the corners just to remove the bulking. So that piece is 5 7/8 by 2.5, and we have scored at 1/2 inch along all 3 sides. For these pockets, I've also used 65-pound cardstock. So that is the bottom, that's the lowest tier of the cascading pockets. One level up, we have a piece that measures 5 7/8 by 3.5 inches. Now for this one, we are not making this a traditional pocket. So you'll see here, I only have 1/2 inch scored on either the left and the right side, not on the bottom. So along the 5 7/8 side, you're gonna score at 1/2 inch on both the left hand side and the right hand side. You are not adding a score line at 1/2 inch along the bottom, because once all 3 of these pockets are put together, it's going to be cascading, but the back pocket is going to sink all the way down, so you're going to have all of that room. So this middle piece, you only want scored on the left hand side and the right hand side. And then for the final piece, which is also the largest piece, this piece measures 5 7/8 by 4.5 inches. And this one, again, just like the previous one, you're gonna score at 1/2 inch on the left-hand side and the right-hand side along the 5 7/8 inch side. So once these are all together, this back pocket is gonna go straight through down to the bottom. This middle pocket will go straight through down to the bottom, and then this first pocket will stop at the bottom there. So you're getting the full range of space for storage in this pocket. So we'll bring our folio back in, and we are gonna open both of the flaps up. And what we're gonna do is we are gonna place our pockets inside. I am going to kind of line these up here how I think I'm gonna want them. I want the bottom pocket to go all the way to the bottom, but I don't want to necessarily, I'm gonna glue the bottom. I'm just gonna do the bottom flap for now. That is just so I don't have to move this piece around. So I'm gonna line this piece flush with the bottom of my folio. Just like that. And I am only for now adding that bottom flap, and that is just so I have this piece here as my guide. I'm gonna come in now with these two, and I'm gonna figure out where it is that I want these. I think I am wanting a bit more space at the top there, just so we can see the cardstock up there. So I'm just gonna bring my pencil in, and I'm gonna make a mark where I want this top piece to go. And I'm gonna remove my score tape. And I am just gonna get this lined up on either side. just like that. And then I am gonna do the same with this piece. I'm gonna get that roughly into where I want it. Remove both sides. Just like that. And then lastly, we will remove the last two pieces on this bottom pocket. And we're simply gonna just fold that up into place. And that will be the inside front cover of our mini folio album done. So we have two flaps here. This one opens to the left, this one opens to the right. And we have 3 cascading pockets here, with the back pocket having enough space to fit something that'll go all the way to the bottom, the middle one to the bottom, and then this one is just a little tuck spot. And we have gusseted these 2 flaps here, which allows us to put more in those pockets, and it gives us all that extra space for storage in there. So that is the inside front cover done. We are now going to move on to the inside of the back cover. So the inside of the back cover, just a little bit of an overview. We're going to have a little place for a cut apart. This will just be a flap that goes there. We are going to have another flip that comes that way. This flip we're gonna have going in the opposite direction. And then at the very bottom, we are going to have a photo waterfall. So what we want to do first, we wanna bring in our first piece. So this piece is 110-pound cardstock, and it measures 5 inches by 7 7/8. And this piece we have scored at 1/2 inch along the 5-inch side. So along the 5-inch side, 1/2 inch, and this is going to be the first flap that we put down on the inside. So I'm going to peel back my double-sided tape, and I'm going to get this centered. Like that. And then this cut apart piece, I am wanting to put it on this side. I just did my writing upside down, but for the cut apart piece, it measures 3 3/4 by 4 1/4, and we've scored it at 1/2 inch along the 3 3/4 inch side. We're gonna fold and burnish that down. And then we are gonna peel back a piece of our double-sided tape, and I want to add this on to the center right here. Just like that. So there is that flap. For the second flap, we have a piece that measures 5 1/4 by 7 7/8 of an inch, and we have scored this one at 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch along the 5 1/4 inch side. So this gives us a 1/4 inch gusset for this one. So again, it measures 5 1/4 by 7 7/8, and we have scored it at 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch along the 5 1/4 inch side. And this one we are gonna line up along the right hand edge. So we are going to peel back our double-sided tape, and we are going to get this centered with this other piece here. Okay. way, and I'm just gonna come back in just like that. So there we have this cut apart flap. This one opens this way, and this one opens this way. And then finally, for the inside, we have our waterfall. So I have 5 pieces here, and they all have the same measurements. They all measure 4 3/4 by 4 1/4. And I have scored it at 1/2 inch along the 4 3/4 inch side. And that gives us our 1/2 inch gusset, and it will bring each of our photos to be 4 1/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches. And then to go along with all 5 of these, I have also cut down a piece of cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 2 1/2 inches. And this is going to be so that we can line up all of our waterfall pages and add them into our mini folio album so that they're all even and lined up nicely. This is something that I like to do for all of my waterfalls. So we're going to start by taking our top piece. We are going to fold and burnish our score line. I'm going to peel back a piece of my score tape, and this first piece is going to line up with the very top of this piece of cardstock. Just like that. So that is the first piece that we are putting down, and we are going to continue with this for all 5 of these photo waterfalls. And we are just going to be lining them up one beneath the other at the bottom of, right underneath the cardstock here. So I'm just going to get these burnished. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to peel back again this piece. And we are simply going to be lining this up, right butted up to the base of the first photo that we put down. Just like that. And we are going to continue to do this for all 5 of our waterfall pieces. So now we have our waterfall here all done. And by doing it this way, this piece is all one piece now. So when we go to adhere this to our album base, this is going to be a lot easier to put in just because it is one piece now, and we can just put that directly in the center where we want it. But this is not something that we want to be adhering down just yet, because we want to put our decorative paper on the back of this before we adhere this piece down. But that is this mini folio base done and completed. It was super quick and super easy to put together. A lot of easy measurements for trimming and scoring. So now all we have left to do is add our decorative paper to this. And there is our finished mini folio album that is perfect for 6x8 cardstock. So I am going to just undo the tie here, and I'll show you the finished mini album. So it opens up, and this is what we see. This flips open this way, and then we have the 3 cascading pockets. And then on this side, flips open this way. We have our little cut apart flip, flips that way, and then we have our waterfall. And I just realized I forgot to put the centerpiece on there, so I'll be sure to add that. But thank thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this mini folio album tutorial. I really wanted to make a folio mini album just because sometimes it's nice to be able to do a mini album that doesn't need chipboard or many little different bits and pieces. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed day 11 of 12 days of Christmas crafts. And we will see you again back here in a couple of days for day 12, the last day of 12 days of Christmas crafts. We'll see you very, very soon. Bye.